Hello woodworkers of the world! Welcome to the Swedish knife grip sessions. This time I'm going to show you how to make a butter knife. The butter knife is a very common everyday item in the Swedish kitchen. We use it for spreading the butter on the bread. And this butter knife is commonly made in wood, and it has to be done in a good way. It has to be thin in the blade like this, and the handle has to be a little thicker. And then it has to have a little curve here on the inside, so you can put your pointing finger here and then lean the butter knife like this and spread the butter away. A little springy, it can be a little springy when you are using it, and then you have a good butter knife. And this time I will want to show you how to use all these very useful knife grips in making a butter knife. So I'm going to start with a roughened out and split out green wood birch that I have, and you just saw me doing that very quickly and roughly, and now we will continue with the knife work. The first thing you have to think about when you're carving in wood is the fiber directions. Look at this, the fibers are running like this, very straight. So, because the butter knife has a little bow like this, you have to start to carve in the middle and go towards the ends, like this. So we have a little dividing point here, and then you are cutting this way on that side and on this way on that side. Because when you are cutting in wood, you have to go with the fibers, not cross the fibers. Then it's not going to work. I'm going to start with the power grip first, because that's a very powerful and useful stroke like this. And you can see that I'm trying to put the knife a little backwards like this, and I have a straight arm, and I'm taking a little on the sides, and then I take the rim or ridge which is in between like this. And watch out for your knuckles so you don't hurt them on the chopping block. So you have to put your hand outside the chopping block. Of course you can do the power grip like this. Put your legs away and then use a straight arm and lean with your body forwards like this and make this long and nice cuts, which helps you to define the form. So you have smooth and nice facets or bevels on each side. And now I want to smoothen this part and make this blade a little thinner. And then I'm going to use the scissor grip, which is like this. I'm holding my hand with palm up, squeezing it with my fingers and my thumb on the top with my edge away from me. And then I'm pressing my fingers towards my chest very firmly and steady like this. And then I go together a little like this and then open up my chest here. So you can see I can very powerfully use my body as a leverer. When you are carving, you're using a lot of different knife grips. In the Swedish knife grip sessions we talked about 10 different knife grips, and I'm using all of them every time. For example, we have another one which is the pull grip, when I'm holding the blank with my left hand on the very end of the blank and then cutting like this. And this grip stops here at the thumb. So when the knife releases in the wood, it hits your body like this. But don't forget to squeeze your underarm onto your chest like this all the time, because if you don't, it can be accidents. And now, next thing is to make the cutout here on the inside. And to do that in an easy way, you can either use an axe or use a saw and make a saw cut down here, because the form is going to be something like this. If I make a saw cut here now, I can split away this wood and very easily carve from this direction down here and from this direction down here. So now when I made a saw cut, I can actually with an axe split away this part. But look here, I have to be very careful so the axe don't hit that end, because then I will split away the whole blade. So here I'm working at an angle, and then I'm actually splitting the very rest like this with pulling the knife, the axe sideways like this. And here I have to take away a lot of material because it's way too thick here. And then I'm going to use the knee grip. Finding my little hollow here under the knee and then pull. This is a very controlled way to have the knife to be fixed when you work. So you pull the blank towards your body instead. So this is an alternative to the power grip. And now, remember, I have to cut from here down to here and from here down to here. And then from this point all the way out there. And then I have to switch the blank all the time. And in this position, I trim the end a little by cutting towards my thumb so it won't hurt me too much. And then I'm going to use the pull grip here. And the easiest way to get rid of a lot of material is to take two bevels on each side like this, and then you cut it down. So don't take too much material at the same time. And you see the knife stops here because it wants to go across the grain. So here I have to switch and come from the other way. And here I can use the pull grip with adding my left hand's fingers. This is a very powerful and controlled one. But then I have to turn my hand a little up like that, hiding that thumb muscle, and then push with my fingers like this. It's a very useful one because I can see the design and the shape and the form of the knife. And now I'm using the scissor grip again, but in another version where I'm actually adding my thumb on the blade. So I'm pushing with my thumb, the thumb push from this side. And I can do this from the other side too, like that. So now I'm going to work a little, take away some material and show you how I'm switching all these grips all the time. And I just told you that I wanted this to be about 1/8 of an inch, 4 millimeters at the blade. And I want the thickness of the handle to be about 3/4, about 17, 18 millimeters thick. And the overall length would be about 6.5 up to 7 inches, approximately 17, 18 centimeters. But as you can see, I kept it a little longer so I can hold on to the very end here and have a little extra material so I can cut the whole way. And one more thing when I'm working is that I'm always trying to look at the thing I'm working with, in this case the butter knife, in two modes, in two views. This is the front view, checking the overall form, and this is the side view, checking the overall form. So a good thing to do is to stretch out your arms and look at it like this, just to check the form. I can now see it's a little bit too thick here. So here I'm going to use the crossed thumb grip. The crossed thumb grip is very useful because the fibers wants to tear here because you come across the grain very quickly. So at this part you need to have a little flat surface. Right now, when the wood is wet, it's really hard to get it really smooth, so forget that. Do that when you do the second clean carving mode, when it's all dried out and you are supposed to make smooth, nice surfaces. Then you can clean this much easier. Now I'm using the thumb push. And this is the thumb pushes on the back of the blade, and at the same time I'm doing that, I'm slicing with the knife sideways. Remember, always to slice. And I'm also using the thumb as a little pivot, so I can get a little extra strength. This grip is very useful for doing these final nice bevels and press this bevel down in the wood and get support from this hollow grind that you have on your Morakniv. And this grip is towards your thumb. So you're slicing towards your thumb like this. It's very controlled, and you can see that I'm leaning my knife away from my body so I get a good cut like this. And now I'm switching to another grip, which is normally in the elbow grip I'm pushing the knife away from me like this. But here I'm switching my hand with palm up and hide the blade in the palm of my hand, so I can get a support here on this muscle by pressing it towards the blank. And then I can cut with the point towards my body and be very controlled and make these very long, nice curves and smooth curves. So now you can tell that while I'm carving, I'm using different knife grips all the time, and sometimes it doesn't matter. So it's a very subtle feeling what kind of grip you're using at a certain time. And this is something you have to practice and learn. And remember, if it's a hard grip, try to practice as much as you can. In this part, it can be a little tricky because the fibers are running like this in the butter knife. And this is for strength, because the fibers has to run perfectly in the center all the way up here. And they have to run from this point through this handle all the way here to be strong and good. So therefore, I have some cross fibers here. And then I'm using the crossed thumb grip here to clean it up. Now I'm almost done. I'm going to shorten this, trimming down the handle a little. And then I'm going to cut it off here, approximately about here somewhere. And remember, when sawing with knife saws like this, always put your thumb on the side so it doesn't jump up on your skin. Now for trimming these ends here, I'm using a knife grip towards my thumb by placing the thumb in under here and squeezing the knife in between my fingers, like this. And this grip is also very efficient when you want to clean up end grain. But then I'm rotating the blank at the same time as I'm doing this curve, rotating with my elbows like this. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Need to round this end a little because it's in the palm of my hand. yeah, this is good enough for the drying mode now. So I'm gonna wrap this in a piece of cloth for a few days, and then when it all has dried out, I'm gonna clean cut all the surfaces and make them smooth. So good luck with your butter knife.